Hello students, this is Nitya Priya. We are dealing validation controls in our unit 3 of distributed technology. Even now we are going to see the third control, which is range validator control, right? So the range validator control is going to determine the range of any value, okay, any value entered by the user on a web form. Okay, so that is called as range validator control. So the range validator control determines whether a value falls within the specified range. Okay, so for example, for creating email ID, we cannot give the year, we give the age 2, right? So instead of giving 20, we cannot give 2. So instead of giving 20, we may sometimes type 20 and another 0 will put. Okay, mistakenly we'll put another 0. So that gives us 200. Okay, so the age cannot be 200. So like this, the wrong entries of data it will avoid. Okay, so it will just check the range of a particular data and it will accept the data if it is valid, right? So how come it checks the range of value? It sets some maximum and minimum value. It sets a range, minimum range and a maximum range. So if the value that we enter falls within that range, if it is between the minimum and maximum value that has been specified, then it will be accepted, the data will be accepted. Otherwise it will give an error message saying that the value that you have entered is not falling under the range that you have given. Like that it will give, right? So this is called as range validator control, and these are the properties of range validator control. ID, these are the properties that are mandatory to all the controls, right? Not only for the validation controls, not only for this range validator, it is common for all the validator controls. ID is the identifier of the control. So control to validate is the name of the control that it validates. For example, in text box 2, we gave the age. So text box 2 is the control to validate, like that. Then display. Display, it sets or gets the appearance of the validator control. It may be invisible or it may be visible also, right? So that visibility we can set using the display property. Then error message. Error message is the message that we give to specify the error. Okay, so that is user defined. Okay, so that is error message. So runNet is the attribute that specifies that the particular control is server control or a client control. For server controls, we'll just say runNet equals server. If you say that, it is a server control. So range validators, all the validator controls are server controls. So usually we'll give runNet equals server. And for this, these are the controls for this particular range validator control: maximum value and a minimum value. So these are the two properties that gets the minimum and the maximum values. Then maximum control and minimum control. So we may give the values, or we may take the values, minimum and maximum values, from some other controls. For example, if text 2 we want to validate through text 3 and 4. In text 3 we may give 10, in text 4 we may give 20. Okay, so text 3 is minimum control and text 4 is maximum control. So for this checking the minimum value, it will take text 3, and for checking the maximum value, it will take text 4. Okay, so there it is minimum control and maximum control. Straight away, if we give the values, it is minimum value and maximum value. If we take the values from some of the controls will be referred. Okay, there the values will not be referred, the controls will be referred. So they are the controls. Okay, so that's it. Then type. Type is the data type of the value. We'll say it later. Okay, see the type property. The values under these data types, it will check. It will check the data type of currency, date, okay, double, integer, string. So these are the data types under which the value can be entered and can be validated using this range validator. Okay, and this is a simple coding snippet through which we can activate the range validator control. First I'll show you the output, then you'll understand the coding. See, there is number of tickets. Okay, beside number of tickets there is a text box, small text box. So inside that we'll give a value. So this we validate. we can buy tickets from 1 to 4. Maximum 4 tickets we can buy. If the value goes beyond that, if we give 5 or more than that, it will say you cannot buy 4. You can buy only 4 tickets. You cannot buy more than 4 tickets, it will say, right? So what is the error message? You can only purchase 1 to 4 tickets. Please try again, because we entered 9, it says like that. If we give 3 or something, 3, 1, 2, 3 or 4, that is a valid value. Okay, I hope you understand. For this particular thing, we are writing the coding. So there is a text box and there is a validator control, range validator control beside the text box, and below that we have a button, submit button, on which the caption is validate, right? So for this we are writing the coding. See, number of tickets, that's a simple label that we type on the screen. Then inside that there's a text box, right? So the text box we create, the ID of the text box is tickets, maximum length is 2, and the other things we set. Okay, beside that there's the range validator. So the ID of the range validator we changes RV tickets. Okay, so control to validate. What is the control to validate? It will validate the value taken by the text box. So what is the ID of the text box? It is tickets. So control to validate is tickets. Okay, then minimum value, maximum value, these are the properties of range validator. So minimum is set as 1, maximum is set as 4, and the type of data is integer. Okay, then display is dynamic. You know, all the validator controls are having the display property as dynamic, because it tend to change when the execution is done. It will be something on screen when it is static on the design mode. When it is run, the mode will change. Okay, the error message will display there, it will be changing. So this is called dynamic. Okay, the appearance changes, so that is dynamic. Then the error messages, you can only purchase 1 to 4 tickets. Please try again, right? Then run it as usual. Run it takes the value server, because it is a server control. Okay, I hope this is only important. You just understand the range validator snippet, that's it, the properties and the values, right? So we close range validator, we come out. Then we are creating a validate submit button. Okay, that we haven't given. You can write or you may omit, that's no problem. Okay, and this will be the output of the code snippet. See, working with range validator control. Then number of tickets, we have a text box. Inside that we have given the value 9. So for 9, if we give 9 and we click on validate the submit button, we will get the error message, you can only purchase 1 to 4 tickets. Please try again. Okay, so this just tells us, this gives us a message that if you give a value below 4 or equal to 4, you can buy. So if it is more than 4, you cannot buy. Okay, it says that. So we can understand it should be less than or equal to 4, right? So what is happening next? We try to give a value between 1 and 4, and we give 4. We just press validate, it is giving you purchased 4 tickets. See, it is accepting. Okay, so that is how it works, right? I hope you have understood. And as I already said when we discussed the properties, instead of giving the minimum value and maximum value, we can also give the values on a control, and we can specify the controls as minimum control and maximum control. Okay, so that's it, what we have given here. So minimum control and maximum control also we can give, right? So when we are adding the control, see the third point, we set the maximum control and minimum control, and at last if we have set the controls, we have to omit or remove the minimum value and maximum value. So let's not confuse. If it is minimum value and maximum value, we should not give minimum control and maximum control, right? If you have given minimum control and maximum control, we should remove minimum value and maximum value. That's it, right? Okay, and that's all about range validator. Thanks for watching.